guys, it's Sam and I'm here to announce round 11 of Tome Topple Readathon. So if you're not familiar, Tome Topple is a readathon that I created years ago, and the only goal is to read books over 500 pages. We do have some reading challenges and reading prompts that you can choose from, but I want to stress out the gate that really the only goal is to read books over 500 pages. If you can find books over 500 pages that you want to read, that's all you really have to do. This readathon is a very simple one. So this round is going from May 9th through May 22nd, so it's going to start at midnight on May 9th in your time zone and go to 11:59 p.m. in your time zone on May 22nd. Most of the readathon is coordinated on Twitter, so I will link the Twitter down below. It's Tome Topple. You can also use the Tome Topple hashtag, but Twitter and then now also Instagram, which I'll talk about in a second, is where we have most of the interaction stuff. We run sprints, we have challenges, there's photo challenges on Instagram, everything like that. So I will link that information down below for you guys to check out throughout the readathon. I do have a number of co-hosts that will be returning, a lot of familiar faces. We have Adriana from Perpetual Pages, Sarah Jane from The Book Life, Sean from Reader's Rambles, Sam from Will Read for Booze, Joss from Yogi with the Book, and Gaia from Instagram. I will link all of their pages down below for you guys to follow them as well. So as I mentioned, the only point of this readathon is to read books over 500 pages. I know a lot of people have gotten really used to very complicated readathons. I am never going to run that kind of readathon because Tome Topple has always been very simple, just about reading books over 500 pages. The only reason I've ever added prompts is just to help people and motivate them to get maybe some more difficult books off their TBR or just guide their TBR a bit. But honestly, if you have books over 500 pages, that works. I get questions pretty much every round on if you can read a book that's 487 pages or whatever. Technically, no, you can't. If that's the only book that you want to read, then either you read it for Tome Topple and I'm never gonna know and that's fine, or you just read it and don't read it for Tome Topple because you don't have to participate in the readathon. I would love you to, but again, the only rule is to read books over 500 pages. I get questions every round about if certain books count. If books 499 pages, I don't really, I don't do what you want, guys. If you're somebody that wants to stick to the rules of the readathon, do that. If you're somebody that fudges them a bit, do that. If you're somebody that doesn't care about the rules, then you probably shouldn't read with readathons anyway. But we do have a bingo card returning. We started this last round and it's just kind of really fun. So depending on how many challenges you get from the bingo card, then you get a certain title: student, scholar, and sage. So here are the reading prompts, and they all again fit kind of in a bingo card, but you're not really trying to get bingo. It's just a really easy way to set up a card. It's fine. And one book can count for a max of 2 categories. I will explain this again later because some people missed this last round. So the prompts are a tome that has been on your TBR the longest, a tome that you listen to on audio, a tome that's part of a series, a standalone tome, read 1 tome minimum, a book featuring an AAPI character or by an AAPI author. This is for Asian Pacific American Month, which is in May. So similar to what we did for Black History Month, we're also doing a similar thing for Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. A tome from a genre you don't usually read, a tome on your TBR with the most pages, and an adult tome. So again, each book can only count for 2 of those categories, so you can't have a book that's an adult book, part of a series, and the longest in your TBR and count it for 3. It can only count for adult and the book that's been in your TBR the longest. 2 categories at once for each book. So with that being said, if you complete 1 to 3 categories, you get the title of student. If you complete 4 to 6 categories, you get the title of scholar. And if you complete 5 to 9 categories, you get the title of sage. We also have some daily Instagram challenges between this and the sprints. This is how we're kind of engaging the community. We're also thinking about doing some silent live reading. We're kind of just trying to figure out how, with a lot of us having more time and trying to be more connected and everyone being isolated, how to interact more on the different platforms and stuff. But right now, for sure, we have the sprints and the photo challenges. We'll also be posting about the photo challenges on Twitter if you don't have an Instagram, so you can kind of do all of that. We also have some slides for Instagram stories that you can use and fill out and everything. So those are all going to be on my Instagram. My Instagram's linked down below. It's Thoughts on Tomes. So those will be posted on my Instagram stories as well as on my Instagram feed, and then also probably on Twitter as well, so you can get them from any kind of platform and fill those out. We also do have a list of recommended books if you're trying to find books for AAPI Heritage Month, so that is going to be on the Goodreads group, so we'll link that down below as well. The Goodreads isn't as used because personally, I'm just gonna admit it, I hate Goodreads. I hate Goodreads groups. I don't like them. I don't use that platform a lot. But if you want to join the group and talk amongst yourselves, feel free, but just know it's not a heavily moderated group that we are involved in a ton, because I don't know if any of us in the co-hosts like Goodreads. It's just a necessary evil. We get that, but I don't like Goodreads groups. I said it. So I think that is most of it. So let me get down to my TBR now. Now I actually have like a couple of picks because I'm not really sure what I'm going to be in the mood for, what I might read before this. I probably won't read any tomes before this, but I just have a lot of things that like I kind of want to reach for, but some things that fit certain prompts. So just gonna kind of go with it. So first we have The Black Prism by Brent Weeks. This fits for a number of categories, so I could use it for pretty much any 2 categories for the most part. I might listen to it on audiobook. It's an adult tome. I'll have read 1 tome. It's part of a series. It's the book that's been on my TBR the longest. It's not the one with the most pages. I'm actually not gonna read the tome on my TBR with the most pages, so that's not even an option for me this time around, but this is one that I need to get off my TBR because I've had it for so long and I just need to get to it this round. Then I have The Phoenix Empress by Kate Arsenault Rivera. This is the second book in the Tiger's Daughter series, I believe it's called. This features Asian-inspired protagonists. This is a fantasy world, so it's not Asia, but they are definitely Japanese, and I'm forgetting what else inspired because it's been so long since I read the first book in the series. But this is generally about 2 warrior women in love, and I think I read the first book in like 2017, so it's time for me to read the second book. This has also been my VIP pick for Patreon for a while now, so I need to get to this. I've just been putting it off, I think, because I'm like, I'm sort of freaking the first book, but I don't really want to reread the first book, not because I didn't like it, but just because I don't have time right now. I mean, I do have time. I just don't want to right now. I just don't want to reread. So I do want to read this one so I can get to the final book, which I also do own in the series, and finish up the series. But this I can use for AAPI Heritage Month, book in a series, adult, so we'll see what I end up using this category-wise for. Then I do have an audiobook for The Ruin of Kings by Jen Lyons that I started back, I think, in December and just never really continued. It wasn't quite gripping my attention. I was wanting to read the Assassin's Quest Robin Hobb books, so I skipped to that. But if I do want to read an audiobook, I will probably re-pick up this one, but I haven't really been in the audiobook mood lately. I kind of go between wanting to read audiobooks and listening to podcasts. So we'll see what I decide to go with. Tally is ruining my entire life by just like barking and running back and forth above me because I film in my basement now. So I hate it. No, I'm definitely not going to read all of these, but it's just going to be a matter of like, what do I most feel like? So I also have one more selection that I really do want to get to, and that is King's Bane by Clare Legrand. This is the second book in the Imperium trilogy. I reread Furyborn last month, I believe, and so I really just want to get to this one. I reread Furyborn so I could read this one, and I just want to read it. But it's not the longest book of my TBR. I mean, it does fit for a series. It's a YA book. Like, it only really kind of fits a couple of categories, but I just want to get to it because I want to be ready for the final book. I just want to read it. So I probably will, because I want to read it so bad. So these are all the books that are potentially on my TBR. If I were to guess my mood right now, I kind of feel like I'll probably end up with Phoenix Empress and King's Bane the most, but I want to read all of them. I'm going to read all of them. That's my goal for the end of June, but just a matter of what's going to get read during Tome Topple, I don't know. So that is it for my Tome Topple announcement and my personal TBR. Comment below, let me know if you have any questions, but also let me know what you do plan on reading for the readathon if you plan on joining us. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see all of you guys soon. Bye.